Nebraska heads to Minnesota on Friday for a little college edition of Friday Night Lights, and they are taking on the Golden Gophers, trying to, and I can't believe this stat is real, trying to win back-to-back road games for the first time since 2006. We'll see if the Huskers can pull it off. I think they've got a pretty good chance against Minnesota, which is not your granddad's Minnesota team. You're used to the physical, pounding the football, inside run game, good lines, steady defense. That's not really who Minnesota is this year. They've thrown the ball almost 60% of the time on offense, and the running game has been a little bit questionable for them. It hasn't been something they can really rely on. They've got a couple good backs in Taylor and Ijuboy, but they've struggled on the offensive line, especially on the interior of the offensive line. There's been some talk around Minnesota that they may have to try and look and replace some of the bodies in there. I don't know if we'll see that against Nebraska. What I do know is that's a unit in flux. That's part of the reason they haven't run the ball super effectively. And then you've got Drake Lindsey as your quarterback. He has struggled at times as well, completing just 60% of his passes. I know that used to be a good number. It's pretty subpar now in terms of passing completion. He's not a guy that you are going to have move outside the pocket much either. He's not just not really willing to, he's one of the least capable runners Nebraska's seen at the quarterback position all year. To me, that sets up really well for Nebraska to have a great day defensively, between an immobile quarterback, a run game that has a hard time getting going, and then a pass game that can be inconsistent. Those things line up well for Nebraska. Now here's the elephant in the room. Nebraska struggled with Minnesota. They've been outmatched and outmanned before, the Gophers have, and still beat Nebraska. So this isn't a team you can overlook, even if on paper it looks like a mismatch. But I do have confidence that this Nebraska team will be able to overcome those things that previous editions of Nebraska versus Minnesota have gone the way of the Gophers. I think Nebraska, with their defense, what I just talked about, and I do think they're going to be able to run the football. You've got Emmett Johnson in his homecoming, going back to Minnesota, a place where he wanted to play and didn't get offered. Imagine we're going to see a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and their run defense has been suspect at best. Devin Mockabee last week tore him up with quite a bit of outside zone running game. I think Nebraska is going to have a big day on the ground. I think Emmett Johnson's going to have a huge homecoming, and I think Nebraska wins big. The line has ballooned from around 4.5, 5 points to around 8.5 or 9 at the time of this recording. I think Nebraska wins this one by double digits. I think Minnesota's going to have a hard time scoring the football, and I think this is going to be as easy of a road win as you'll come across this year probably for Nebraska in conference play. I'm going to say 34-13 Nebraska comes away with the victory.